Let me clarify some things. Hello, everybody. I'm Nick Driver, and I am. Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about an interview I did with KSFR News Radio in Santa Fe. It's about wearing or not wearing a mask. Before we jump into this, remember, hit that like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends about it. Let's get like-minded people together. And if not, agree or disagree, let me know. It's your choice. But we're going to go ahead and go over the article that was written that I did an interview for. Uh, Here it is, KSFR. This one's by Bryce Dix. On or off, the psychological divide of mask wearing. So you can it's a 6-minute listen. If you want to go to the site and listen to it, you can. The interview I did with Bryce was about 15 to 20 minutes long, and I mean, we talked quite a bit. He had a few questions, and I thought it went pretty well. After reading this article, I figured this is what was going to happen. I mean, selective editing and whatnot. And it's not that it's bad. I'm not saying the article is bad, but at the same time, there's a lot of stuff that was left out. So let's go ahead and read through this, and we'll talk about it as we go. So we all have heard about the most recent coronavirus guidelines released by the Center of Disease Control. Fully vaccinated people are finally allowed to maskless indoors. Well, in most cases, that is. But it's controversial and even politicized. For many reasons, some are confused by the CDC's seemingly wishy-washy stance on how to properly handle the pandemic. Others are unsure who or what to believe nowadays. I mean, if you've been paying attention to Dr. Fauci on the main news, yeah, I mean, he's flip-flopped multiple times. He said things that, mask off. No, you don't need mask. Go on cruises. And then he's like, no. Wait, you do need masks. Don't go on cruises and all that. And then, of course, when you're vaccinated, you don't need to wear a mask, but still wear a mask. But trust me, yes, it has been confusing. All right. So the New Mexico's governor, Michelle Lujan Grisham, has decided to implement these measures, a state which has had some of the most restrictive health orders in the nation. But as New Mexico starts opening up, residents are still unsure of whether the mask should be on or off. Well, I mean, our state lives in fear. I'm sorry. That's basically what it is. Lots of people still haven't come to terms with the coronavirus numbers. And the fact that it's a virus that's going to spread, that's going to mutate, and it's going to be something that's going to be around for a long time. All right? So there was 3 people who were interviewed. I was one of the 3. So let's read this first statement. I feel sort of strongly that we don't quite know the long-term efficacy of these vaccines and whether or not they will continue to be as effective as they have been for the next several months, year, or however long. That's Brittany Carnesi, a resident of Albuquerque, explaining why she's going to continue masking up. And yes, she's fully vaccinated. I honestly don't think New Mexico is ready for it, and I quite frankly don't think anywhere in the country is ready for it at this time, Carnesi says. She points out the surge of COVID-19 cases in India as an example of why the public should be on its toes at all times. For her, it's a roll of the dice to trust that this won't happen in the U.S. I mean, there's a big difference between us and India. And like I said, the coronavirus is a virus. It's going to mutate. It's bound to happen. It's just like the flu. It mutates all the time. The vaccines, there are actual studies out there that show the vaccine's efficacy, and it's about 7 months. But at the same time, if you've gotten sick from the virus and have built up the antibodies, your efficacy is about the same with your antibodies and immune system. There are studies out there to show it. I think I talked about it like 2 episodes ago. I can't remember. But yes, there are studies that say, hey, the vaccine is just a little bit more effective than just getting sick by yourself. And that just reminds me of the chickenpox era when we would, tell our kids to go hang out with the kid that had chickenpox so they can get chickenpox at a young age because we want our kids. Our kids are the key to herd immunity right now. And that's the new scare tactic, is the kids are the increase in cases in New Mexico. Well, I mean, when all the adults have already been infected and have gone through it, and as you can see, our number of cases compared to deaths, it's not substantial. And that most of those people who have been infected already have basically the same protection as the vaccine. Now, I'm not saying don't get the vaccine, I'm saying it's your choice. That's what I have advocated this whole time. It's a choice. It's not something that should be mandated or forced upon the individuals. It should be a choice. And forcing it upon kids, though, that's a whole nother ethics question in itself, because this is still not fully FDA approved. It is still on an emergency use authorization order, and basically it's still in its experimental stages. We don't know long-term effects of it yet. There's still, especially with children, and I don't think children should be lining up for the vaccine when they could just do life normally, and maybe they'll contract the disease. And unfortunately, yes, some of them may be affected by it drastically, but it's a very, 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 very small number of them that will end up hospitalized for a long time or have long-term effects. Okay. Even the doctors here in Albuquerque have said, yes, we have seen cases in kids, but they're usually asymptomatic. And if they did come to the hospital, they were out quick. So we obviously know that when kids get infected by this virus, that it's something that is going to brush over, and then they're going to be stronger against it in the future. And that's what we need. We need our kids to build this immunity so the next generation might not have to deal with it. But right now, for us to get herd immunity, kids are really the key. But anyways, so she pointed out the surge in India. It's decimating entire communities, and we've seen how that it can happen here. Karniazi says, I think it would be just as easy for a new strain to worm its way into us one small community, and we know how quickly that spreads. It's a virus. It's airborne. So no matter what you're gonna do, it's gonna be in the air. It's gonna be there. That's just facts. You're gonna have to accept the risk at some point in time. But yet again, I've never said not to wear a mask, as in you don't have to. I'm saying it's your choice. It's 100% your choice. That's always what I've said. On the other side of the aisle, there's people that can't wait to get back to life before COVID-19. Nick Driver is a customer service representative based in Albuquerque. He said he's not going to wear a mask in public because he believes it doesn't protect people. He has not received any vaccines. That's not a lie. I told him I'm not going to wear a mask in public, and I told him I'm not going to get the vaccine until it's fully FDA approved, until I feel comfortable getting the vaccine. It's that simple. I'm a healthy young man who's already been infected with the virus twice, and I've come through it both times, and I feel like if I ever got it again, I wouldn't even know. And that's just due to normal science of your immune system. I believe my immune system is doing its job, just like our kids' immune systems are doing their job. All right. From what I've seen, the science and everything, especially with Florida and Texas, it just doesn't seem that masks change anything, Driver said. The spread is going to spread. From what I've seen, it really, yes. Like I said, I've never said that masks don't prevent droplets or whatnot, because of course they prevent droplets. If you're sick, you should wear a mask. But if you're healthy and you're not sick, the choice is yours. It's that simple. Like, common decency has gone out the window, and we're stuck living in fear of our neighbors and of random strangers on the street, when back in the day, we never were this way. Like, I'm sorry, it's your choice. It's your choice. But Nick says he's still on the fence on the whole state going maskless. As a whole, no, I don't believe so, Driver said. But at the same time, I believe in personal liberties. You're responsible for yourself. I mean, personal accountability is a huge thing here. We know there's a vaccine out there that helps. We know that some people want to wear masks. That's perfectly fine. Go ahead, wear your mask, get your vaccine. Do what you want to do. Do what's right for you. But it's not right for everybody. And then you have to listen to the audio to get the extra sentence here, because I also stated, And for those people, they shouldn't be forced to wear a mask. It's that simple. If it's not right for them and they don't feel like they need to wear a mask, they shouldn't be forced to wear a mask. It is important to note that the CDC has done research on the effectiveness of mask wearing and says wearing a cloth mask is effective in reducing exposure to infectious droplets in the air. Yes, like I said, it will prevent droplets, but it's an airborne virus. So no matter what you do, it's gonna get out there. So even if you're sick and you're in your mask, it's gonna accumulate. And it's going to accumulate. And then all you're doing is walking around and leaving a trail of it behind you. It's evaporating from your mask and just into the air. So you're just leaving a trail. Whether you stay 6 feet, whether you stay away from the person, it's still going to be in the air around an infected person. Now, it's your choice whether or not you want to accept the risk and wear a mask and get vaccinated or not. That's my basic statement. That's it. It's your choice. It's your choice. I'm one who believes in my immune system, my own personal mask, which is my nose. If y'all know basic biology, your nose has mucus and nose hairs, which is designed to help prevent airborne illnesses from entering your system. So learn to breathe through your nose. You don't always have to breathe through your mouth. Of course, if you're doing exercising or talking, breathing through your mouth is going to happen. But at the same time, you can always breathe out your mouth, in through your nose. All right. And then, of course, when it comes to coughing and sneezing and all that stuff, remember, cover your coughs. When I was a kid, that was a common thing. Cover your cough. Wash your hands if you ever coughed in your hands. You know, don't be licking your hands and then touching stuff, and make sure you always wash your hands before you eat. Simple things, right? I believe that has just as much effectiveness as your mask does. And that's my personal belief, my opinion. And I should not be forced to have to wear a mask because you're scared and haven't accepted the numbers. I'm sorry. The pandemic has gone on long enough that the curve has been flattened, and it's not a pandemic anymore. Even though they keep calling it a pandemic, it is not. And we have cases like Texas and Florida, which show that it's not going to really change much, and if not any, without mask. Anyways, but the point of the contention here is buried in black and white of it all. The decision to be or not to be, to wear a mask or not, has to do with a unique psychological phenomenon called dichotomous thinking. Here's clinical psychologist Dr. Gerald Chavez to explain. So I honestly like the way he talks about that, because it really is one of those things we as a nation need to stop doing. It's really causing a lot of divide in America, and it's not just masks that's doing this. There's other things that are causing the problems. So, but at the same time, mask right now is the biggest one. So the dichotomous thinking is black and white, us and them. The type of thinking, Chavez says. The problem with dichotomous thinking, and I'm going to make a dichotomous statement to prove dichotomous thinking is wrong, and that is dichotomous thinking is never right. The reason it's never right is because you will always find examples of something else. A way to stop dangerous way of thinking, mindfulness. When you're being mindful, you're learning to not judge others. I agree. Why? You don't have to judge others. I mean, like I said, if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't. If you want to get vaccinated, get vaccinated. If you don't. It's that simple. I'm not going to judge you either way. But at the same time, all I want you to do is to not judge me and to let me live my life. All right? So let's see. Because when you do, you've created a relationship that will be tainted by the belief system. That belief system. Chavez said, like, these people are always, or that person wearing a mask is obviously a this or a that. No, they're not. They may be doing that for many reasons, and we need to honor what they are doing. I couldn't agree with that more. It's, they may be doing that for many reasons, and we need to honor that, what they're doing. This is America. You have personal responsibilities and accountability. You have personal freedoms and rights. You can make choices for yourself. You don't need the government to tell you how to live your life or how to raise your children. It was at this point in our conversation that Dr. Chavez brought up a study he found published in the National Library of Medicine that found less people are opposed to social distancing than mask wearing. Do masks not only create an us and them in the dichotomous environment, but do they also hide emotion that we are used to reading in others? Yeah, they do. So we've taken away a lot of our emotional content in relating to others, Chavez said. That's about 80% sometimes of what we get. It's what we see on the body language. The masks have created these stoic creatures with eyes and nothing else. Thank you for saying that, because I agree. I mean, it's really, you can't judge anything or you can't tell anything about somebody because they're wearing a mask that's covering up 80% of their emotions. Your eyes can only tell you so much. And even then, it's just, your eyes can only say so much. We all keep hearing that life will soon get back to normal. But for Dr. Chavez, the COVID-19 pandemic will have a long-term impact on both the human psyche and the daily life. See, once you've done a behavior for about 13 to 14 months, it's almost become second nature, like immediately strapping on your seatbelt or covering your mouth when you cough or different things like that, Chavez said. That's true. I mean, we've been slowly being trained. It's one of those things, we are being trained to wear masks. The problem is, like I said, is people are being too judgy and pushing their beliefs on others. He says that we should look to countries like Japan or China that have normalized the use of masks when sick, but to also remember human contact is needed to keep mental health in check. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem. If you're sick, wear a mask. That's just common courtesy. It's just like, if you're sick, stay home. Don't go to work. It's common courtesy. But the problem is common courtesy has disappeared and everybody just lives in fear now and assumes everybody's sick. That's my issue, is assuming everybody's sick all the time. If I see you in a mask, I'm going to assume you're sick, because that's what a mask is for people who are sick. Now, yes, you can wear a mask too because you're afraid of getting sick. That's perfectly fine as well. But for people like me who aren't afraid of getting sick, we don't need to wear a mask when we're not sick. If I found out I was positive with the virus again, I would wear a mask if I was in public. It's that simple. But until I'm sick again, I don't feel like I need to wear a mask, because who am I protecting when I'm wearing a mask if I'm not sick? Just myself, right? Which is my personal choice. My body, my choice. Now, yet again, if I get sick, I have no problem putting a mask on because, like I said, it's common courtesy. And normalizing it, that's just basic. Like I said, that's just basic. It's not that it needs to be normalized. It's just that if you're sick, just cover your mouth and make sure if you wear a mask when you're sick. It was happening before coronavirus that people would wear masks when they had the cold or something in public, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's being a human, and that's thinking of others. But the fact of the matter is, you should be sick. If you're not sick, it's your choice. Anyways, what will happen is things we've achieved that are really helpful will become the norms, Chavez said. Perfect example. I'm going to Mexico here next week to meet with one of our teachers there. I don't even think twice now about taking my shoes off, removing my belt, blah, blah, blah. Now I just need to add a mask to that craziness. Remember, we've been living with this craziness for 20 years. It has now become the norm. Let's say, for example, flu season comes up and some people decide, Well, if I wear a mask, do I not have to get the flu shot? I think we're going to move the science and with us and evolve as we go. I think we'll get back to face because that is going to save humanity. Always having face to face contact with people. So the moral of the story here, be kind, don't judge. Now, follow public health orders, I don't agree with. Like I said, if you're not sick, I don't think you should have to wear a mask. And if you're vaccinated, mask up if you want to, of course. I think if you should have the choice between getting vaccinated and wearing a mask. It's your choice. It's that simple. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really a hater on people who wear masks, but at the same time, I think you live in fear if you're wearing a mask when you're not sick. It's just the assumption that I make. And, I don't really like to assume because it just makes an ass out of you and me. But at the same time, like I said, if you're not sick, wearing a mask is kind of pointless unless you're afraid to get sick. And if you've looked at the numbers and you've looked at the recovery rates and everything like that, and you have no immune problems, you're probably going to be fine not wearing a mask. But yet again, that's your choice. That's your personal responsibility, your personal accountability, your choice, your body, your choice. I am not going to tell you to wear a mask. And you shouldn't tell me to wear a mask. I'm not going to tell you to get vaccinated, and you shouldn't tell me to get vaccinated. It should be your choice. It's that simple. Anyways, that's all I have for y'all today. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Please hit that like, subscribe, share, do all that fun stuff. Leave a comment. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Tell me if you're going to wear a mask or not continuing forward. Like I said, it is common decency to wear a mask if you're sick. So I agree with, if you are sick, you should put a mask on. If you have immune deficiencies, you should probably wear a mask. I completely understand and agree with that. But if you're a healthy person and you've already contracted the virus once, or you're vaccinated and you survive through the infection and the vaccine, you don't need a mask. Anyways, I'm Nick Driver. That's all I got for you today. I'm a new sorry, I had an itch on my nose and it really messed up my outro. Anyways, I'm Nick Driver. I'm a New Mexican and I care about you.